What's going on, my fellow reef builders? I am Jake Adams, and thanks for joining me for another video from the Reef Builder Studio. You guys really love our Nano Reef Aquarium content, so we've deliberately let this tank get a little scuzzy so we can bring you along on the process of sprucing up the tank and cleaning out some of the things that need to be addressed. But before we jump into it, I just want to let everybody know that Reef Stock Denver is going to be happening a couple weeks as of this video. March 5th and 6th in Denver, Colorado. We're gonna have just a ton of different frag vendors, 3 awesome professional speakers, and a ton of raffle prizes representing almost the entire catalog of the saltwater aquarium world. So you definitely don't wanna miss it. Go to reefstock.show for more information. But now, let me tell you what we're gonna be doing to this Nano Reef tank today. So if the tank is not looking as shiny as we usually show it, like I said, we kind of just held off on doing some aquarium maintenance on this tank for a little while because we wanted to share with you our techniques for making a tank, look better. This tank doesn't look bad, but there's definitely a few issues that we'd like to address. So we haven't cleaned the aquarium glass. You should be able to see that from the lack of reflection. This rock here, there's kind of a big rock that used to be kind of against the back. That one fell, but it's also given us a little bit more access. But the sun polyps that we added to the tank maybe about 6 months ago are doing really well. There's several different varieties and strains, but unfortunately there is a healthy amount of Valonia that's kind of been creeping up. I thought for sure I put an emerald crab in here, but he's not doing his job. We're gonna give him a little bit of help. So we got some Valonia back there. We've got a little bit of Valonia here in the front, and just a couple patches of red slime algae. The thing is, you really don't see much of this when the lights are all blue because it hides a lot of flaws. And we're finally gonna rescue this Kenya tree soft coral that has really thrived in here up until the green star polyps have kind of taken over. And we're probably gonna address some of these corals here that are just not exactly in the best place that they need to be. One of the first things I kind of want to address, especially when it comes to Valonia, is I overhear this in the aquarium store all the time, is make sure not to pop the Valonia because then it's going to spread spores all over your tank. Usually they're called seeds or something, but they imply that somehow emerald crabs eat Valonia whole, because if you've ever watched an emerald crab actually do its job, they pop it just as much as we do, and I just put zero emphasis on not popping the bubble. So we're gonna scrape up a bunch of this Valonia. It's gonna be a lot of popping, and we'll probably use just kind of a siphon to suck it out as we're going along. Similar with the red slime algae, maybe in a week or two, after we've pulled it out, we'll do a little red slime treatment. But for now, it's time for us to pull off the top and get into the tank and start doing some work. So as you can see from the cloudy water and closed up corals, Evan and I really got in there, but it really was only about an hour. So we started picking off some of the Valonia, but because we're so hands off with this tank, like the more we picked, the more we like discovered just like little patches of funk and like cyano growing on top of hair algae. So we ended up taking most of the rock out, just kind of picking it off, you know, really carefully outside of the aquarium. But we did remove one rock and we're able to just do something better with the aquascape. The aquascape has been untouched for over 2 years. Now we've got really nice divide right here. For now, all the green star polyp is concentrated on the left side, and then we've got the prism favia to kind of keep it at bay as far as this rock is concerned. I added a little bit more sun polyps right there where below the clowns, and then as a splash of color that we've already talked about, I didn't want to add more red or pink zoanthids, so I added a frag of that really awesome bright pink candy floss Goniopora flower pot coral right there in the middle. I glued it in and I used some epoxy to make sure it was really well secured. And then as soon as I was done, I was like, oh no, what if the clownfish start hosting it? They haven't hosted anything in this aquarium, not green star, not the torch, you know, it's pretty stingy, not the frog spawn, and not the sun polyp. So we'll have to keep an eye on that because that frag is way too small for those clownfish to even think about it. So we're gonna probably let this run, I don't know, a day or two, let it clear up, let the corals kind of come out of their shock and readjust to what's going on in here, and we'll show you that when it's ready. It's been about 24 hours since Evan and I did a good clean job on this Nano Reef tank, and man, we really couldn't be happier with how everything turned out. We got 99% of the Valonia. We actually didn't tackle much of the Aptasia. I think we're just gonna put another peppermint shrimp in there, and it's such a small space that it'll probably find all the offending polyps. But really happy with how the aquascape turned out. We ended up using a couple small Carib Sea Life Rock base rocks and lifted this rock and then the rock in the back that has the green star polyp. One of the few things that I'm probably gonna change here soon is the orange frog spawn is a little bit too close to the sun polyp there on the left, which is staying kind of closed. So probably after this video, I'm going to maybe divide the frog spawn and glue it closer to the back wall so it can help to keep some of that green star polyp at bay. And I might even, after the Aptasia is taken care of, take that sun polyp and glue it a little bit lower down so we have a nice big field, nice patch of Palithoa grandis. And then, you know, this gold torch here is just really doing awesome. So there's not much that we do to this tank. It's been a little bit over 2 years. I think that was the most involved deep cleaning we've had to do this entire time. But I recently finally put the first electronic ATO device on this aquarium, not because it evaporates a lot, but because you know, just wanted to test out this product for review, and it was a perfect use case scenario. Everything's included, like kind of it's self-enclosed here in the back, and have a really big reservoir down here that we filled up. When was that? January 19th, and it's only down like an inch or two thanks to the glass top that we have on top to reduce evaporation. So we're taking bets to see how many months it's going to be before that one reservoir is depleted, and that's kind of the point of the auto top off, right? Like, I think this tank is going to be have its reservoir refilled maybe twice a year. And now that I have some fancier corals in there, you know, like that candy floss Gani, and still the gold torch and the orange frog spawn, I'm gonna think about doing just a wee tiny bit of dosing, and we might introduce that not in the form of dosing pumps or manual additions, but just putting a really dilute amount of stuff inside the reservoir so it's just automatically replenished as water evaporates. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been really fun. Like I said, we get most of our FaceTime with this tank when we're doing videos on it, but if you really enjoyed this video, if it gets 1,000 likes, or when it gets 1,000 likes, I feel like it's about time that I show off this tank under the blue light that we enjoy it under most often. So for video, you know, for the brightness, we generally turn up all the channels to keep it nice and bright, get everything nice and focused. But this tank really just pops like crazy. Get us to 1,000 likes and we'll do kind of a blue fluorescent feature of this Nano Reef tank, and answer any questions that you might have put in the comments in this video in a future video. So thanks for joining me on this video. We'll see you guys on another one very soon, and for some of you, we'll see you at Reef Stock in Denver in just 2 weeks. Later, guys.